This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... A lot of you have asked me exactly what happens over here in the studio before a show. And that's a great question, and I figured that since I got a few minutes here before my guest here comes, that maybe I can put you in touch with what this place looks like behind the scenes when we're about to film a show, with all the lights on and the cameras rolling and everything. And it's a pretty intricate process that I go through, and it's one that we perfected over the years, and one that I think gives us the highest quality interview possible, and one that we really strive for. So if you ever feel like you're listening to like a really good conversation between two people, it's something that I think I've worked 3 years in order to get. I have no media training. This is new to me, and so I think it's something we've slowly perfected, and a lot of that is preparation. Also, I don't know if any of you know this, but I don't have any cameramen here when they're in studio. I kick all the people out, including publicists, girlfriends, agents, whatever. And I've had even like heated debates getting them out of the studio, but they always want to be here and hang out and watch. But homie, don't play that here at London Real, because it just doesn't work, and I don't think it gets a really good high quality interview, because I think it needs to be really me meeting their mind. So I've got lots of cameras here. If you're in the guest chair, this is what you're looking at here. You're looking at me and all these cameras looking at you. And that's GoPro 1, GoPro 2, Sony 1, Sony 2, and then I've got another Sony over here staring you down there, which is a kind of a higher quality one. And then behind you as a guest, I've got that camera that's on me. So that's 6 cameras. I know it's quite a lot. It's a bit of an overkill, but I figure if you're going to bother watching us on YouTube, then I should at least shake it up and try to give lots of angles. Now, one of the things that's really controversial is they tell you in film school, and I've been to film school, that you should never cross the line. And that means an imaginary line between the guest or the one person talking and the other person talking. And you're supposed to keep all the cameras on one side of that line. And if you ever watch a movie dialogue, they'll always, pretty much always be on that side of the line, which is the reason the cameras are here on my right and all the way over here. But then this guy over here totally breaks those rules. And you'll see sometimes when I'm shooting an episode, all of a sudden it'll cut to the other side of the guest and give this like funky profile shot. And that is breaking the rules, but that's what we do here at London Real. We break the rules, and I don't really give a fuck. I think it looks cool, and it's all about the guest for me. There's 5 cameras on the guest and one camera on me, and I hope that ethos of the show comes out, because this really isn't about me, even though I'm doing this vlog. It's really about the guests, and that's all the lights behind me. I've probably prepared for this, any guest, 5 or 6 hours. I've gone through researching everything they do. I put together a cheat sheet here of all of the questions I want to ask them. It's quite detailed about their bio, all the questions and everything. And what I do is something that Neil Strauss, writer of The Game and a very big guy in the music scene in LA, when he interviews people for Rolling Stone, he says he writes down every single question he wants to ask them, and then he picks the paper up and puts it in his pocket. And so that's kind of what I try to do here at London Real. I have all the questions down in there and there if I need them. But when I'm doing a show, I really try to keep eye contact, and I want to be in the moment, and I want to be focused on my guests. Because if I'm sitting there, first of all, looking down can really trip them up sometimes when they're trying to really tell me something personal and intimate. And also, I think it distracts me. So I should already have in my mind what's coming next. And it's hard to do that sometimes. I think a very good interview is like a piece of art. And this is one take here, and it's the first time I've met this person, and they're telling me their story. So we don't usually have we can't do a take 2, and I can't meet them for a second time. So it has to weave nicely, and also nicely so you, as a viewer, enjoy it. Because if they start going down some rabbit hole about, the way that their mother treated them when they were 6, and we don't get actually to the show, then you're going to be like, okay, boring. And on YouTube, there's lots of other things to watch. So you're going to be like, whatever. So I try to construct a narrative that's didactic, but also entertaining, and also tries to bring out the best in the guest. And that's what I'm doing as we have this talk here. For sound, I've got the soundboard here that I mix, and I've got the Zoom microphone where I do as a second audio source. I also use the Mac as a backup audio source. And then the best mics. This is an SC 2200 mic, and I use this Shure mic here that you would have seen on radio shows for the guests. And I'm always trying to get better audio. This place is a very bouncy studio with lots of hard walls. That's one of the reasons I have the rug here on the floor to take sound away. But we're always trying to get better sound because I'm really conscious of the people on iTunes. And I think sound is super important, even for video, because it brings you into the conversation as opposed to make you think, oh, that's shitty sound, which isn't a very good way to experience a London Real episode. So I might sound a little crazy here. I guess I am a little obsessive. It's the engineer in me, or the engineer, as Dan Pena would say, and that's okay. You know, it's something that I do, and I think it's one of the reasons that our shows are so great, because I go into all these details, and this is all by trial and error, and all because I probably screwed up one of my episodes one time by having bad audio, or one of the GoPros wasn't working, or something. So I kind of joke that this is like NASA here. We got, you know, six degrees of failure, or 6 sigma, or whatever, with all these different cameras. So if something does go wrong, which it doesn't, but if it does, then we have backups. So there's a little day in the life. This is how we tape. I'm waiting for the guests to come over right now. I usually like to wait outside for them. I get out, get some air, I clear the air, I do my jaw exercises like saying words, and my favorite is unique New York, unique New York, you know, you like unique New York, and all that stuff you see from Anchorman when they're practicing on the camera. Yep, I do that. So there you go. Hopefully you like this behind the scenes thing, but that's what happens. I also get the bulletproof coffee ready and always serve that on the show, and just try to make them feel at home, because I understand they're coming into a weird environment. They might feel scared or spooked about being camera, or being live on camera, or live to tape. So it's my job to make them feel comfortable. And I've had people come in grumpy, pissed off, angry, scared, you name it. And it's my job to pull that cat out of the bag and get a good interview. And you have no idea how many times I've been like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be bad. And so, you know, but that's just being a professional. I'm sure all of you are a professional at something, and you do that all in the same way too. And in my opinion, a professional should always make it look easy. So that's what we try to do here at London Real. I just want you to think they just dropped by. They just knocked on the door and dropped by. So that means I'm doing my job. So and I don't need any thanks for that. I get a lot of personal satisfaction from just doing good work. So there you go. All right, I'm going outside to wait for my guest, but there's a little behind the scenes. I will be doing a whole like 10-part series on this at some point, as all the details of how to create your own, you know, hit video talk show, and I'll be putting that out maybe on the Academy coming in a couple months, but I know people are curious, and then we'll go into all the details, how to book guests, how to promote, how to do all these things, because this is just the beginning. Then we go to the production process where we produce like 9 different videos for every guest, and there's all sorts of stuff going on behind the scenes. So when people ask me what I do in my spare time, well, I do London Real in my spare time. So there you go. Thanks so much. It's about the journey, baby, and I'll see you on the other side. Peace.